Hi, Chris Willis here. My mental skills intervention presentation is based on the methods introduced in Chapter 14, Self-Confidence. I'm going to mention a few key points outlined by the chapter and also introduce the Sports Confidence Inventory questionnaire to the athlete Caleb that I've involved today. This is the athlete Caleb. He's in 8th grade. He plays both basketball and baseball. He didn't play either sport until recently, so he didn't have any much experience in his younger years with sports. So he has a few issues with self-confidence and how to relate them to sports. So I think that he'd be the perfect candidate to use here for this inventory survey. Now, Caleb, this is the Sports Confidence Inventory Survey. We want to add up underconfident, confident, and overconfident. There's 10 questions here. You want all of them to add up to 100% regardless of which is which. Like, you could have 100% underconfident in one thing or overconfident in the middle. You could have 50, 0, and 50, 30, 40, and 30, 20, 60, and 20. Anything that adds up to 100 of your feeling, mix in a 5 if you have to. So I'm going to have you do this survey, and I'm going to get to these few points, and I'll be back with you if you could. Thanks. Okay, some of the main points of the chapter on self-confidence or self-efficacy theory. And the self-efficacy theory has 6 main sources of self-confidence. The first is performance accomplishments. This would be actually performing an accomplishment and knowing that you can handle the act in advance, having been there before, experiencing it with, like, you're not stepping to the baseball plate for the first time. You went 3 for 3 yesterday. You know you can get a hit today again because you've already been there before. That's a way of confidence building. Another is verbal persuasion. That's, say, your head coaches or maybe superior players or maybe the captains on the team that can work with you. Say you're in batting practice, they can talk to you a little bit and say you're having a bad day and you're just hitting all foul balls or you're striking out a lot. They can say, oh, you got your swing going, it's just not coming today, don't worry, work through it, etc. like that. So it's to build you up and reinforce. Another way we have is imaginal experiences. This is a big way used of imagery. Imagery is another chapter that we've had in the book and that you guys are familiar with. Imagery would use different ways to focus on events that you haven't done yet. Like, let's say you're up against this pitcher and there's a guy on second and you need to have the shift on. So you'd want to visualize where you're going to hit the ball, where it needs to be hit, the ball coming out of the pitcher's hands, all this. A lot of batters will stand in the batter's box while the players before them in the bat and actually swing through each pitch. This is imagery. Another way to build confidence is through vicarious experiences or quote-unquote modeling. Modeling is usually done by coaches in practice. They'll show you, let's use batting as an example. So we'll go into the batter's box. They'll show you a proper stance. They'll show you how to hold the bat, where you place your hands, all the way to swing the follow through. So these are things also that would be an example of modeling. Then we have the two states. We have physiological states and emotional states. Physiological state would refer back to self-fulfilling prophecy, which is also mentioned in this chapter. That can be very negative for an athlete. It's when you get a mental picture in your head that you keep repeating to yourself and like, oh, I can't do this and I'm going to fail, or all these negative things that you might tell yourself. The more you tell yourself negative things, the more likely this is to happen. So the self-fulfilling prophecy is, if I think negatively is going to happen. That's why it's important to be positive. And that would be for the physiological states. Now, emotional states for confidence are what's on the outside. Say you're an adult, you have bills to pay, things are bearing down on you in your personal life. Maybe you got in a fight with your significant other, argument. If you're a student athlete, maybe you got an F on a test, or you have a big test tomorrow, or you have an issue with your sibling, or something wrong with your parents. These are all things that come off the field in your real life to bring on the field. It's important to be able to separate the two, and that can also be a confidence builder. Now we'll get back to Caleb with the self-confidence inventory. Did you get a chance to finish that up? Great. Okay, so now what we do here is we add all these up, and then we divide them by 10. So we have the underconfident, confident, and overconfident. Now what we want to do is add all these up to get a percentage that will still equal 100 to basically see what range you fall in. So we got 150, 210, 240, 250, 290, 310, 345. So we got 34.5 here. And then we got overconfident. We got 40, 90, 180, 230, 300, 380, 410, 470, 540. So this is 54%. And so basically you have more than half in the confidence scale. And then on overconfident, we got 10, 60, 70, 110, 115, 11.5. So your total for overconfidence is 11.5. You're confident and 54% of your things areas, and 34.5% is where you range in underconfident. Now all these areas are great. The ones we want to work on are obviously the other two. A couple points we should address here. I see the most underconfidence comes from your ability to make critical decisions during the contest. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how you feel or why you feel underconfident in that area?
Because I feel like if there's so much pressure on it, and if I mess up once, and I can screw the whole game over.
I understand why you can feel that way. Now we'll talk about a few things in self-confidence you can use to build your confidence. You can focus on accomplishments instead of outcomes. When you focus on accomplishing yourself, you're not putting all the pressure of yourself, like you just mentioned, on the team. Like, oh, there's all this pressure. If I mess up here, then the whole team will lose, and then it'll be on my shoulders, and everyone won't like me. That's a completely normal way for an athlete to feel. So if you focus on accomplishments, like what can you do? Say, I'm going to not commit an error today, or I'm going to make sure I get a hit today, or these things like this that only you can control. Don't have too big of goals, but just have ones that you can achieve. Another way is to act confident. There's 3 confidence ways: acting confident, responding confident, and thinking confident. You want to act confident as that's when someone, like say another player says something to you, don't say something like, oh, I don't think I can do that, or for teammates, just even if you feel in your head that maybe you can't, the best way to get across and to do it is say, I got this. Then responding confident, there's 3 steps to that. There's accepting a mistake, and centering the mistake and how to focus on changing it, and then thinking about how you're going to respond to the mistake to the coach or to an athlete, like, oh, okay, like next time I'm going to address it this way, or I got this. That's how you can build in your head. And then thinking positive was like, say you're at the plate trying to hit, you don't want to think, oh, this guy struck me out the last time I was up. You think, this time I'm going to get a hit against him. That would be an example of thinking confident. The more you practice these things, the better it will come as second nature to you and build confidence in you. Imagery, which I talked a little bit about, is like focusing on what you want to actually happen. Say you're in the batter's box, and like a lot of batters, I said, they will actually follow through with the swing on the hitter before. You can visualize where you want to place the ball, where you want to connect with the pitcher, if he's right-handed or if he's left-handed. All these things are imagery. Goal mapping is also something we can do, as that's more coaching though, or for an athlete, say you didn't play a lot last year and you just want to get more time this year and you want to get more at bats, or in the basketball season, so you come off the bench and next year you want to be a starter. These are different things that aren't huge goals for mapping throughout the season. Preparation builds confidence as well. Like proper preparation prevents poor performance, and just applying this method is going to help you as well. The last I would say is fostering the social climate. Let's say you go onto your team and there's other kids there that they may be cliquey and whisper or things like that, and you not feel comfortable, and like fostering. It's hard to be in those adverse situations, so like throw yourself in there and like try to make friends and crack a joke, do things like that to break the ice. So these are a few of the things that we would mention in the sports confidence survey questionnaire, and throughout the chapter of the self-confidence and our foundations of sport and exercise psychology book. This has been Chris Willis, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you for your time.